Welcome to your first flipped classroom lesson. Today's lesson is going to be a review on the distributive property and combining like terms, and then at the end we're going to join them both together. So let's start with number 1. Number 1 is read as 5 times the quantity of x plus 3. Whenever you see parentheses, okay, we read it as times the quantity of. So this is the quantity of x plus 3 5 times. And you know, whenever you have a number right next to parentheses, like you see here, it's multiplication. So we're going to multiply 5 times x, which is 5x, and 5 times a positive 3, which is positive 15. And that is how we simplify. It's an expression, so we cannot solve for anything. We are just rewriting it to create an equivalent expression. It's important that you know the word equivalent because we're going to be saying it almost every day in here. Equivalent. Number 2, I have negative 3 times the quantity of x plus 10. So again, I'm going to multiply my negative 3 times both terms in parentheses. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x, and negative 3 times a positive 10 is a negative 30. So I write it as minus 30. Some students like to write it as plus a negative 30, which is okay. They are equivalent. But you will mostly see it as negative 3x minus 30. You cannot do anything further because these two are not like terms, so you can't combine them. So we're done with number 2. Number 3, I have negative 6 times the quantity of x minus 5. So again, negative 6 times that x, and negative 6 times a negative 5. You always look at the sign in front. So negative 6 times x is negative 6x. Negative 6 times negative 5 is a positive 30. And that is your equivalent expression. It's important to watch out for problems like this, where you have a negative sign outside the parentheses with no number. You should pay attention because if there is no number there, there is secretly a 1. So you're actually distributing a negative 1 to both terms in parentheses. So it's negative 1 times the quantity of 4 minus x. Negative 1 times 4 is negative 4. Negative 1 times a negative x is a positive 1x. Or sometimes we just write it as plus x. Again, you cannot combine these two terms because they are not alike. Next up, we are going to combine like terms. We are going to simplify this expression. We cannot solve. There is no equal sign. It is not an equation. We're just going to write it in a simpler way. Whenever you combine like terms, this is where I find it super helpful to get a highlighter or colored pencils or a marker to underline, and underline or box, highlight, whatever you want to do, each term and its partner or multiple partners. So for this one, I'm going to circle my 4x. In order to be considered a like term, you have to have the same variable and the same exponent. So 4x has a like term of negative 11x because they both have just one x attached. This negative 11, this 11x is negative. You take the sign in front. So I have 4x minus 11x, which simplifies to negative 7x. Some of us like the keep, change, opposite method, which would still give you negative 7x because they are equivalent. Okay. Next, I have a positive 5y, who doesn't have any other y friends with him, so you just tack him onto the end. So I'm going to rewrite this as negative 7x plus my 5y. Don't forget, we also have a negative 3 term, who does not have any like terms with it. Negative 3 is a constant constant is a number that stands alone, no variables with it. So negative 3 doesn't have any like terms, so we are going to just attach him at the end. And there is our simplified expression. Negative 7x plus 5y minus 3. That's it. The last thing we're going to review is when I combine distributing and combining like terms to simplify this expression. So you always want to distribute first to get rid of the parentheses. You have negative 4 times the quantity of x minus 6 plus 3 times the quantity of x minus 11. So let's distribute this negative 4 to the x and to the negative 6. You get negative 4 times x, which is negative 4x. Negative 4 times a negative 6 is a positive 24. Okay? Plus, now I'm going to distribute the second half of the expression. 3 times x, which is positive 3x, and 3 times a negative 11, which is negative 33. So, I am not done yet because now I can combine the terms that are alike. So looking at the expression now, I have negative 4x, who has a like term of a positive 3x. Negative 4x plus 3x is negative 1x. So I'm going to rewrite it down here, negative 1x. Then I have like terms of a positive 24 and a negative 33. Well, 24 minus 33 is negative 9. So I'm just going to attach my negative 9 at the end of my expression. So this whole expression here is equivalent to this final answer, negative 1x minus 9, which cannot be simplified any further, so we are done.